Hello and welcome. As your Grafana champion, I'm here to guide you. I'm Daria Volkova, and this channel is your key to unlocking the full potential of Grafana. Our open source business suite plugin collection has gained significant traction within Grafana community, with a staggering 24 million downloads. We're thrilled and excited. Recently, we added a new plugin to our collection, the Business Table Visualization panel. The Grafana community greeted this plugin with joyful cheering and appreciative hollering. In this video, I review the features of the Business Table Panel version 1.3.0. Are you ready to be amazed? Let's go! And I will jump right into the demo. First, the Business Table panel allows to have multiple tab views. I have two here, country with 4 columns and value with 2 columns. Users can download the selected tab by clicking the Download button, and the data downloads in CSV format. The values in your table can be links, one link or multiple. In this example, I have 2 for the user's choice. You can always use Grafana's override to configure links for a particular column, not just the whole table row. You can always pin columns if a table is too broad and cannot fit into the screen. Here I have ID and name columns pinned on the left and the comment column pinned on the right. The business table supports the server-side pagination. It mainly helps with performance. It makes sense when your table displays a large number of records, and you need to instruct the business table to retrieve data by portions, not the whole data frame at once. One of the most requested features is the data editing right in the panel. I click this edit icon and let's see what happens after that. The current user is allowed to modify country, value, manager, and last date columns. They are not allowed to change the status column. To accept new values, they click this icon. To cancel the changes, they click here. The elements where a user can enter new values can be a string type, like in the column manager. That one allows entering anything. Number type allows entering only numbers. Datetime provides Grafana datetime input element. And the other one is select, which is a drop-down where values come from your data source. Here I have a list of countries from which users can choose. You have extensive permission control. You decide who has permission to edit every column. The permission can be determined by the Grafana user role, if you were editor, admin, or none, or the permission can come from the back end in the form of a Boolean value. If the value is true, the permission to edit is given, and if the value is false, the permission is not given. And that is not all. You can display data in a tree view. For instance, here I converted the country column into a group that allows users to expand and collapse it. The next column, city, is also a group, so users can expand the table further. Here, the most granular view of the table is connected to the Grafana's threshold. Yep, the business table panel supports Grafana threshold. So all values in the range from 0 to 10 are highlighted in green, from 10 to 12 in yellow, and all values beyond those ranges in red. The values that are displayed for the grouped values for device in my example can be any Grafana supported mathematical function. The whole table can have a total row where you can assign a specific mathematical function to every column. In addition to all I just demonstrated, the business table supports extensive filtering. The filtering depends on the column type. For the string, I can filter by entering free text. I enter long and have one appropriate device left. Or I can switch to the option here and multi-select from all available values in the column. For the number, users can select more, or equal, and so forth, and then specify a number for the mathematical filtering. Filtering can also be synchronized with the dashboard variables, as I show in this example where I select a value on the business variable panel and the business table panel reacts accordingly by keeping rows with chosen only statuses. How hard is it to configure all that? In fact, not that hard. You start by configuring your data source or multiple data sources. The business table allows you to combine data from multiple sources if needed. Then you add tabs. I already have 2 tabs, let me add the third one. Next, you add columns, which are your data frame columns. Then configure specific for each column properties. Wrapping of text, alignment of text, determining if a column should be pinned, and being in a group, it is for tree view, if there is a need for filtering or sorting. What function should be used in the column needs to be displayed in the total row. Following that, you decide on pagination. If needed, select the pagination mode and go into pagination configuration here. To configure editable columns and permissions, you will need the editable data category. Switch these two on to make a column editable. Then specify how to determine permissions, by Grafana role or by the backend. And finish by determining the type of editing that will allow a user to enter a new value: string, number, date, time, or dropdown. The last step is to configure the update request, the request that takes users' entered value and transmits them into your data source, serving as a bridge between user input and data source. You select a data source name and then the query. The query can be entered in the language of your data source or by using the Grafana query builder. For more information, check out this blog post where I describe all features in detail with illustrations and clarifying comments. Plugin documentation may be late. Our developers are working incredibly fast, and usually more features are available than is described. But most of the time, the documentation is in a good shape. We're excited about this plugin and what the community will do with it. Please share your use cases with us. Any questions and change requests are welcome. Use the comment section below to post your thoughts. That is all for now. Thank you for watching and see you next time.